Satnam and welcome. I'm talking about curiosity today, as promised. Last time I talked about cocooning, the stage where you are more internal and you're reassessing and evaluating and really feeling into the direction you want to go as you move in this evolution spiral, in this wild becoming moving forward, right? Well, this brings us to curiosity. Curiosity is actually the first stage in this evolution spiral. It's the stage where things have to change. So sometimes those things have to change because of an outside force. Somebody, it may be because you lost somebody, you may be we're in a natural disaster and lost everything. There's a feeling of loss with it. On the flip side, it could be an internal thing where that piece of you, that knowing within you, cannot stay quiet any longer and needs to be expressed, needs to come out. So there's a loss of the past. There's a loss of how things were. But the beauty of it is that it's a birth. So if you hear roosters in this little video or podcast, wherever you're watching it or listening, know that that's actually kind of perfect because roosters represent resurrection. And in the stage of curiosity, we tend to resurrect parts of ourselves that have been lost for a very long time, maybe since birth. So, enjoy them, okay? I hope you hear them. I do. Like there was one right now. I hope you heard that. So in the curiosity stage, I'd really love for you to think about this. When was the time, and I ask my interviewer, my interviewees, I guess my guests, this a lot. What happened? When did you have the thought of, this it? This isn't it. When was that for you? When did you first think, this isn't it. There's more to life. I know it. I'm going to find it. I need to. Some people, it's like one thing, that's it, they know. For some people, it's a series of events, small seeds that start to finally sprout up, and then they have a farm. So when I got curious was mostly in college. Looking back, hindsight 2020, right? Looking back, of course, I had curiosity throughout my life, but I was to the point of anxiety and depression enough in college to say, okay, I'm going to start listening to this thing inside me that is at odds with how I'm living my life. So I got curious and I did a yoga class. And I think that the yoga class opened me up to that curiosity more than I was just curious about yoga. There was a fellow student in my art class, my painting class, and she was the yoga teacher for the college. I mean, she just taught classes at the rec center. And I thought, well, I'm going to try it. And so I did. And when I got up from Shavasana, that first time I ever did yoga, I felt like I could take on the world and go to sleep all at the same time. I had never felt so at peace in my entire life. I was the kind of person that needed everything to be perfect. I needed everyone to think that I was perfect. I wanted to be the best at everything. If I wasn't, I was jealous. Oh, it was a tough way to live. That's a very stressful way to be. And I'm sure some of you, if you do, let me know. I'm sure you relate. I really would love to hear from you. On that note, this is a side note, but I really love to know if you're listening and, who you are. I really would love to. I listen to podcasts. Like, my favorite one is Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Well, I feel like I'm friends with Conan because I get to hear him talk and laugh, and I get to feel like I'm in that conversation. And he has no idea that I exist. And I just want to know that you exist. Like, I want to have the other side of that too. I don't want it to just be a one-sided thing. So maybe selfishly, I'd really love to know you too. So reach out, please. I would love to connect. Okay, so coming back to me being a pretty insanely perfectionistic kind of person. Um, and feeling like, wow, that's what peace feels like. That's what I've been searching for unknowingly. That's what I've been trying to get through perfection. Turns out all I had to do was yoga. So that was kind of, I would say, my experience with it. But, it wasn't like a switch and then I was just all of a sudden in this peaceful state all the time. No. I was in college and I kept, I kept up with it. I graduated with an art and Spanish degree. What you do with that, I don't know. It didn't matter. All I knew was that it didn't matter what my degree was. I just needed a degree so I could get a job, so I could have pay and the ability to buy a home. And, oh yeah, happiness. That was going to make me happy. So that's what I did. I got a job as a staffing specialist in a staffing agency where you're not helping the people find jobs, you're helping companies find mostly temporary, fairly unskilled, and I don't like that word because everyone has talents and gifts and skills, labor. But it was really, really, really soul-sucking. And it was really hard. I got pretty depressed. The things that got me through were running and Kundalini yoga and yoga in general, just to keep that. So then what happened was I took yoga teacher training, and I love this story, so I'm going to let you in on this one as well. I was volunteering chopping vegetables for soups at our local food co-op, and I saw a sign that said that Monique has yoga classes. Now, Monique was this woman, young woman. She was young. She was younger than me, and I was in my mid-20s. But she would come to work, and I swear to God, she was floating. And she was just in this state of blissful calm and just love, just joyous love all the time. I adored her for that, and I didn't know her well. I had this adoration for this woman, and it's like, oh, she's just, I want to be like that, So then I saw that she teaches yoga, and the moment I saw that, I said, how do I do that? That's what I want to do, because yoga was literally the only thing that made me feel like me that I had ever experienced in my entire life. So I asked her, and she was so beautiful about it. She's like, oh my God, you've got to go to the Yoga Loft. You've got to go to Mary Beth. She's amazing. She's in India right now, but when she comes back, you've got to go. It's amazing. And so what do you think I did? I signed up. Now, the day that we started, I had to go to the one Spanish-speaking employed company that we worked with at my job, and they needed to lay off a lot of their employees. So even though I was supposed to be at yoga at 4 p.m., instead, I was at this company, and I had to tell people in Spanish, but I'll say it in English for you because honestly, I don't even remember Spanish that well. I just say, I'm really sorry, but we just they don't have enough work for you right now, and so we have to lay you off for now. And after I said that, I looked at their HR rep, and then she said to me, "Okay, and then tell her, the one person I did it one at a time, which was ugh." Anyway, she looked at me and said, "Okay, now tell her that if she wants to be hired back when we have work again, that she has to stay and work overtime today." It crushed my soul, my heart. I was just like, you're laying her off, but telling her that the only way that she can get hired back when you have work for her again is to work overtime today. So you're saying you have overtime work right now, but you don't have enough work? I couldn't. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. So I got through that. Thank God. Ugh. And then I drove in a blizzard to my first day of yoga teacher training. And I walk in, and by the way, that class I missed was required. But I called Mary Beth, my teacher, and she said, "Oh, just come when you can." She was gracious about it. So luckily, I get in there, everyone's eating their dinner, and they were all really quiet and didn't really say anything. And one of them kind of whispered to me, "We're supposed to be eating in silence. So that's why we're not, being all cheerful." One lady left, and then she and Mary Beth came back, and Mary Beth just ran in, gave me a big hug, gave me a big kiss on the cheek, and said, "Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome home." And I have to say, even though everybody was super quiet and not really talking to me, just acknowledging me, I felt like I'd come home. And wow. So when you go into the curiosity, this is the whole point of that story. When you go into that curiosity, you come home, you step forward on your journey home. You take the first step in your wild becoming. It's a long journey full of adventure and wackiness and all the feels, but it's worth it. It is worth it because what is the thing? The other option, can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. The other choice is not to go into the curiosity. And that only leads to the same things that you were feeling before. And if you're like me, that's depression, that's anxiety. Because for me, that happened when my soul was trying so hard to get me to just listen. And I simply wasn't listening. My mind was too set on this is how life is, and if I do it like this perfectly, I will be happy. No, that's not what happened. So when did you get curious enough to start asking the questions and to start taking that step and to start making tiny changes? All the tiny changes add up. I really want to know, so let me know, please. Oh my God, I'd love it. Join me on Facebook or Instagram, or join the Light of Conscience community. And I just want to put this out here right now. I may rebrand a bit because I'm feeling it, but we'll see. Right now, it's Light of Conscience. If you're here later, like a while later, and you're not finding Light of Conscience, keep listening to more podcasts and you'll find the right name if I change it, which I'm not even sure I will. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm open. Okay. So let's tie this in now to the life purpose map. because, that that's really helpful when you're in curiosity stage. And again, so this is after cocooning, when you're feeling like, okay, I really know, you're going to get curious again about something like, what's next? That's a really fun question. What's next? Ask that all the time, actually. Okay, now what? What's next? But when you're coming out of, cocooning, or if you are ready to take that first step on your journey, I'm rooting for you, by the way, if you are, you're going to want to look to your soul number. Because basically, curiosity comes about because your soul is just yearning for you to listen to it. So you want to know the best way to connect to your soul. And there are a lot of generic ways to do this. So don't get caught up on it has to be a certain way. If something resonates for you that you know connects you to your soul, do it. But the soul number is the date, like the number of the day you were born. So if you were born on the 1st, easy. Your soul number is 1. 2nd, it's 2. 3rd, it's 3. And so on. If you're born on the 10th, your soul number is 10. If you were born on the 11th, your soul number is 11. That's how high the numbers go. After that, we start to add the two numbers together to get the lowest sum, I guess is how I'll say it. So if you're born on the 12th, your number is 3. If you're born on the 13th, it's 4. 14th, it's 5. And again, so on. If you were born on the 19th, 1 plus 9 is 10. So then that's a 10. It's not 1, it's 10. If you were born on the 22nd, like me, woo! You're a 4, but pay close attention because 22 is a double 11. And so you're going to have a lot of 11 tendencies, and you might actually want to look at your map as being a soul of 11. When I did that, my map made more sense to me. Okay, that's the only really weird number though, 22. So what do you want to look for? All right, soul number of 1. 1 is the soul body. Don't get confused, they're different things. But if the number 1 is in your soul position, heart over head and creativity are really important. So give yourself the space. Even if you're very mind driven, give yourself the space to follow this. Even if it's journaling, even if it's, I'm just gonna see what my heart wants to color. Do that creative work. Get used to being creative in your rest times so you can bring that forward into, it'll seep, right? It seeps into your work or do times. Creativity, number 1 importance. Stay creative and stay creative with those questions. If your soul number is 2, that's the negative mind, and it's really, really important for you to keep your values at top of mind, to be really mindful about what you let yourself get into. If you're feeling depressed or anxious like I was, there are things that you can do to alleviate that pain that will not, they're not healthy. So, the self-sabotaging types of things that you can do. I won't name them, you know what they are. I shouldn't make assumptions. Maybe you're not sure what I'm talking about. So, drugs, that kind of thing. Finding connection through sex or things like that maybe right away feel good, but they don't. They don't sustain that good feeling. So keep your values very close and get yourself into a spiritual practice and be disciplined with that and let that be your source of fulfillment. It may take longer than the other things, but it's sustaining and it will last. If your number is 3, that's the positive mind. And for the curiosity, this is it can be fun because the 3 is about, the positive mind is about infinite possibilities, and that everything can be, and that everything can be good, and you see the good in all. But having that body in the soul position, typically it's a weaker link. Any body in the soul position is typically a weaker link until you get really conscious of it and start to work with it consciously. So that means that actually your positive mind wouldn't be functioning as strong, so your thoughts would be more negative. Your ability to see the infinite isn't always there. So remember to keep curious when you're in curiosity, and keep what's next? What's next? This isn't it. So what is? And not try to figure out with your mind, because that's not what the question is for. You're asking the universe the questions. If 4 is in your soul position on your map, if your soul number is 4, this again is about weighing the options and a balanced head and heart, and meditate, and don't meditate for any reason other than to meditate. Don't meditate with the intention of getting the answer. That's not why we meditate. We meditate in order that we can get the answer, but we don't meditate to get the answer. Does that make sense? Just meditate to come into your full presence. That's it. That's your task. 5 is the physical body. When this is in your soul position, it's really important for you to get in touch and in tune and in love with your physical body. I have seen that many times in these more challenging positions, people with the physical body in them have experienced trauma in their life, especially dealing with the physical body. So healing those past traumas, being very gentle with yourself, and then keeping a balance in your life between work and play, good nutrition, exercise, and meditation. Just really being mindful to keep balanced as you go into that curiosity of how can I balance my life more? Think of it that way. Asking these questions. Arc line is the 6th body, so if your number is 6, your task is basically to realize that your soul is connected not only with this physical realm, but also the cosmic realm. You want to be very mindful about your projection. It can be tough to manifest the things you want in your life when the 6th or your arc line is in your soul position. So use meditation again to get a very one-pointed focus so that you're able to focus. The 6th body is up, it's like the mental projection, and so sometimes there can be a sense of depression with it too if you're not using your ability to project in the way that is serving your highest good. So come into yourself, and if you're listening to this, I'm actually closing my eyes because you can't see me, and really just feel into that knowing that you're connected to so much more than just the physical realm, but that you can bring the etheric or the energetic realm in and ground it in. All right, I'm moving on because that was a bit of time to the aura. So if 7 is in your curiosity or in your soul position, the 7 is the aura, and that's your containment. It's your ability to uplift yourself and others. So it's possible that you haven't had the best time uplifting yourself, being able to uplift yourself. I'm saying this to you now. Singing is such a beautiful way to uplift yourself and others. When you're in the curiosity stage, it's important to stay as uplifted as you can and elevated as you can, so you don't get pulled down into kind of those feelings of what's the worth of this, like why am I even here, those kinds of things. To stay uplifted so that when you're asking the questions, you find the answers that are going to resonate more with that elevated state. 8 is the pranic body. That's your fearlessness. So if it's in your soul position, you might not feel fearless. You might not feel like you have energy to make it through your day doing the tasks that you set yourself to. Strengthen your pranic body. Oh, and just so you all know, you want to strengthen all of these bodies, especially if they're in the soul position or the karma position, which is next time. So your task, and so what I've said, like your task or do this, it'll help to strengthen that body. There are so many amazing ways from Kundalini Yoga to strengthen these bodies as well, and they're efficient and they're kind of mind bypassing, so you don't have to worry about your thoughts and your mental concepts getting in your way and sabotaging you, because they just blow past it. So the pranic body, your task is to do breath work, do breath of fire, do any pranayama or any breath work meditation. It will help you harness the energy that you are, because the 8 is the infinity. It is the energy of may the force be with you, and it's a really powerful, your presence is healing and powerful when you have a strong 8th body. And by the way, no matter if you have 8 in your life purpose map anywhere, you do have the pranic body. So anybody can do any of these things if they're feeling quote unquote weaker in any of these areas. So moving on to the subtle body, which is the number 9, if the number 9 is in your soul position. You may be a bit gullible. You may be easy to manipulate a little bit, because, or a lot, because the subtle body is that part of us that sees the full whole picture, no matter how much somebody is giving us. So somebody can be lying to us, but we would know absolutely whether or not they were telling the truth, which if they're lying to us, they aren't. The subtle body is one of the most, well, it's subtle. It's not as tangible to me as the rest of the bodies. There's a beautiful meditation in Kundalini Yoga called Clarifying the Subtle Body, and I would recommend that. We do this in Club LC in September, so a few months ago, and it was awesome. The other activity we did, I'll just give you this so you can work with it if you want to, is I had printed little like body images, just like outlines of bodies, and then we'd meditate, and either after that clarifying meditation or just meditating in general, you have colored pencils or crayons or something as well, and you just color what energy you're sensing within and around you. And that just helps you to get more in tune with your own subtle energy, because that's what's going to be responding to all of the things outside you. So again, when somebody's talking to you, if you have a strong subtle body, you're going to be able to tune in to the subtle energies of what's actually going on. So that's another thing you can do if you want to strengthen that. But yeah, it's really important to make sure you're tuning into that subtle body when you're in curiosity, so you don't get taken advantage of. There's so many people out there who are wonderful people, and they would never take advantage of others. And we've heard way too many stories of the opposite. So moving on to the 10th body, we're almost there. 10th body is the radiant body, and that's your royal courage, and it is your inner nobility. So in the soul position, you may feel like you have no nobility. You may feel like you don't know if you should give energy to anything or not. You know, it's about it's about the 110% that you can give to the things you love. But sometimes you're just not able to even discern whether or not you love something. So you're kind of don't give anything to anything. So strengthening the radiant body is a wonderful thing to do. And the way to do it is, well, the way I love to do it is with this meditation called Meditation to Develop the Radiant Body, where your arms are up like this. If you're watching, you can see. If you're not watching, your arms are up above your head, clasped in a certain way. And you're chanting this beautiful mantra for fearlessness and for courage. And it lifts you from depression too. So there's a lot of really good benefits to this. And that's something that we do in October in Club LC. Let's see, the other thing that I like to do is to do affirmations into a mirror. So like, I am radiant and wonderful and life is easy and I'm so grateful. Something like that. And then just going to move on to the command center. So if you're an 11 soul, as I am, so I understand it a little bit more than probably all the rest, just because I am this. 11 is a mastery number, and so many times we feel like we have to master everything, and if we don't master everything, we're worthless, and why are we here? So if that sounds like you, whether 11 is in your soul position or not, whether 11 is in your life purpose map at all or not, if that sounds like you, remember this. We are not here to master everything. We are here to master ourselves. Trying to master everything, well, it's not the way to master yourself. It's not. So be gentle with yourself and be kind to yourself. You'll probably initiate a lot of things and then just move on to something else because you start stuff. So if your 11 is in the soul position, chant the Mool Mantra. Ek Onkar Sat Nam Karta Purik Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murit Ajuni Saibang Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Hebi Sach Nanakosi Bi Sach. That's what we do in Club LC in November, because 11, right? In December, we're going to do self-care. So if you're interested at all in joining us, please do. It's super fun. It's for the transformation and for the wild becoming that happens for everyone in the group. It's an amazing, it's like almost not even a price. Like it's priceless, but you have, if you're doing something, you gotta price it. So it's really easy to get in. You can actually get a life purpose map and reading done and have a month free in Club LC, and then it's $19 a month after that. If you don't want to mess with monthly payments, I have a year-long plan too. So it's the same price. It's just all bundled up into a 1 year, so then it would renew in a year. And you can stay in as long or short as you want. But if you know you're going to be there for a year and you don't want to mess with monthly payments, then just do that. But it's super much fun. I don't know what super much is, but I just made it up and I like it. So it's super much fun and rewarding, really. People have feedback, because one thing we do, and actually I totally suggest you do this, we do an as if, and that's when it's the beginning of a month, we basically share how that month went as if it was already done. So we share all of the amazing things that happened for us. So in December, say, we'll do an as if, and we'll write on December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, whenever you can in the first part of the month, all about how amazing December was for you and all the things that happened for you and where, what dreams came true and stuff. And I'm not surprised, just because I kind of finally understand a little bit about how things work. But there are lots of things that transpire during the month that were written about as if they were done, before they were done. It's so cool. So I highly recommend this exercise. Do it and share it. Share it with somebody. Share it with me. Totally share it with me. I would love to see your as if shares for any month at all. If you have any questions about this, if I said something for one body or one number that you felt like was missing from yours, let me know because I will give you a little more information. And other than that, until next time, when I talk about discovery, have a beautiful day. Share your story, move into that curiosity, ask the questions. It is worth it. Sat Nam.